So I'm pretty easygoing, but I don't always have a lot of patience for certain things. And I think where this comes out most often is when I'm driving. If someone ahead of me is going too slowly, or turn signal's too late and I get stuck behind them, I can get annoyed very quickly. Or if I see someone going around a long line and then try to cut in at the very end, oof, I don't think so. And I mean, I think it's totally fair to be annoyed in these situations. Who wouldn't be? These are all objectively very annoying things. These are universal annoyances. But here's the thing. I think the real reason that these things are so annoying is because whenever they happen, it feels like, in a way, you lose. You lose if someone else prevents you from getting to your destination as quickly as possible. You also lose if someone who was previously behind you gets ahead of you, especially when you followed the rules and they didn't. And look, I'm not overly competitive, but like most people, I don't really like to lose. So I tend to drive in a way that limits losing, while still following the rules and not being a jerk. If there's an opportunity to move up into space, I usually take it right away. I try to get out from out behind slow people as soon as possible, before everyone behind me does it first. I'm always scanning for openings and opportunities to get ahead, and constantly speeding up so no one can cut in front of me. Essentially, I'm driving not to lose, especially if I'm already late or stuck in traffic. And it's not just while driving. I think a lot of people, myself included, tend to live our lives this way as well, where you're trying to get to your destination as fast as you possibly can and without losing. Maybe that's finding your ideal partner, making more money, or just achieving your goals and dreams. And if someone obstructs you from getting there or cuts in front of you to get there first, you get annoyed because it feels like you lose. Now, this may sound pretty familiar. You might find that you drive this way, or even live certain parts of your life this way. And if you do, have you ever noticed that doing things this way just isn't fun? Like, at all. You can't ever slip up, or else someone else might get ahead of you. You always have to be on, making sure that you don't miss any opportunities. Quite frankly, this is exhausting. And what you may not have realized is that in these cases, you're operating with a scarcity mindset, where you're fighting against everyone for a limited number of resources, and someone else's gain is your loss. And having a scarcity mindset makes it so much easier to become impatient and annoyed. And for what? Are you actually losing if your drive ends up being a little longer? Is it worth all that mental strain just to get to your destination a few minutes earlier? Usually, no. And look, I know that losing in the moment kind of sucks, but whether you're driving or going through certain parts of life like this, maybe the real loss is adopting a scarcity mindset when you don't need to be, and allowing yourself to get annoyed over little things that don't matter at all in the long run. Now, to contrast this, I can recall a few times when I've been driving and it's been the opposite. I don't care about losing. Usually, this happens in cases where I have lots of time, so I'm not worried about being late. And because I'm not worried about being late, I don't care about the things that would normally annoy me if I were. Oh, someone in front of me is going super slow? Whatever, that's fine. Oh, this person came up behind me and is trying to skip the line? Whatever, who cares? And I feel like that's one of the key palpable differences between having a scarcity mindset and having an abundance mindset. If you have an abundance mindset, you're not fighting everyone for a limited number of resources. There's enough resources to go around, where someone's gain isn't your loss. And most importantly, you aren't operating not to lose the same way that you would be with a scarcity mindset. In fact, you don't really care if you lose or not, because you know that you're not actually losing. And I've actually noticed one part of my life where, similar to these driving situations, I don't care if I lose. And that's been with gardening. It's a casual hobby that I first tried last year and then started up again this spring, where I just bought a bunch of different plants and seeds and planted them in some containers outside my front door. Last year, I grew some extremely impressive carrots, as you can see here. This year, I just decided to plant some assorted flowers and different herbs. But the main thing here is that I'm just doing this for fun. If they flourish, great. If they don't, then whatever. I literally do not care if this works out or not. I've realized that when it comes to this specific part of my life, I have an abundance mindset. And honestly, it's so refreshing not to care at all. It's a mindset that I would love to adopt in other areas of my life as well. If only shifting to an abundance mindset were so easy. Yeah, There's certain things you can do to create more abundant resources for yourself, like if you're driving, leaving earlier to give yourself more time. But sometimes that doesn't always work out the way you wanted it to. A lot of things in life often don't work out the way you want them to. And I know I feel much differently about my casual gardening hobby than I do about something like my career. I know that in most cases, when important things in life are scarce, it's incredibly difficult to shift from having a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. I can't just not care about things that I actually do care about. What I am more so trying to get at though is that it can be easy to adopt a scarcity mindset even when you don't need to. And I know that I do this often, with the prime example being driving. I'll get annoyed that I'm losing even if I'm not going to be late for anything. This means I'll get annoyed that I'm losing even if I'm not actually losing. And I do that a lot in other areas of my life as well, without even thinking. I'll be annoyed from time to time that I'm not making as much money as I want to be, or that I feel like others are ahead of me. I'll adopt a scarcity mindset and feel like I'm losing, when in actuality, I've been blessed with an incredibly happy and fortunate life. I'm not losing at all. And so the mindset shift that I've been trying to make, and that I would encourage you to consider making as well, takes place right here. Here, somewhere in the middle of the spectrum between scarcity and abundance, where it might be easy to adopt a scarcity mindset of constantly trying not to lose, but also where you might actually not be losing at all. If you find yourself here, getting impatient and annoyed, take a step back and reevaluate what you have and where you are. Are you actually losing? Or are you just letting yourself get annoyed over little things that don't actually matter? And if the answer is what I think it is, maybe you can shift that mindset from one where you're doing everything you can not to lose, to one where you're not worried at all because you know that you're not actually losing. And if you can make this simple mindset shift on a regular basis, you'll start to see things in a new light. And I promise you that this will make you much happier. Anyway, that's it for today. If this resonated with you or you found this insightful, your thumbs up is very much appreciated. On the topic of bad drivers not actually being what they seem, you might also enjoy this video. Consider subscribing for more videos like this. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.